Fun night planned? Annie Price looked up from the trashy tabloid magazine she was skimming to find the young cashier eyeing her grocery cart with interest. A couple bottles of wine, whipped cream, various fruits, cookie dough, and deodorant. You could say that. 5 months after her breakup with her boyfriend of 9 years, Annie was finally going to give the relationship the send-off it deserved. She was going to get drunk off sangria, scream-sing Celine Dion, shake her ass to Jenna Fox, and eat cookies. Or cookie dough, if the lighthouse didn't have a cookie sheet. Then she was going to watch a few 90s rom-coms, and the exorcism of Jake from her life would be complete. Maybe she would throw some salt over her shoulder for good measure. Party or breakup? The cashier, Billy according to their name tag, asked, scanning her items leisurely. It was close to closing at Hudson's Grocery, and Annie was possibly the only person in the store. Both? Annie turned to a photo spread of "Celebrities Work Out Just Like You," which had a picture of 2 familiar faces in the spread. Sam Shoop and Jordy Taylor, 2 of her cousin's fiancé's best friends, were waiting at a crosswalk, probably mid-run. Sam was wearing a long-sleeve shirt, probably to protect his many tattoos from the fading effects of the sun, his arms crossed over his chest as he glared at the photographer. Next to him, Jordy was leaning against the pole, one ankle crossed over the other, like he was posing for a catalog, grinning at his friend. His longish blonde hair was held back by an elastic headband, and his shirt was off, tucked into the waistband of his shorts. And even though he had rejected her back in December at Eloise and Graham's engagement party, she still wanted to lick a trail from his collarbone down his perfectly sculpted body. "Are you getting that?" Billy asked, and Annie handed it over. That picture might come in handy later. Billy scanned it, announced her total, and managed to shove everything into her reusable tote as Annie paid. Annie dug through her purse for her car keys as she stepped through the automatic doors. The weather had taken a turn for the worse. The wind had picked up, and the rain was no longer its usual lazy drizzle. Fat, cold drops smacked against Annie's face as she jogged to her car. The lighthouse was 15 minutes away, and she hoped she could get there before this turned into a full-blown storm. Staying at the lighthouse had been her cousin Eloise's suggestion, phrased to sound like Annie was doing her a big favor. Her wedding was coming up, and she could use an extra set of hands in the run-up. The lighthouse needed a guest test run. Someone had to be there to pass her an abundance of wine when her family got to town. Annie hadn't needed even half of the convincing. She needed a break from living with Jake. When they had first broken up, she and Jake had agreed that finishing their lease term was a good idea. They were adults. The breakup had been mostly mutual. They could certainly handle living together for a few more months. Except all the little things Annie had written off when they were in a relationship grated on her nerves once they weren't sharing a bed anymore.